Hello and welcome back to the ministry, and today we're talking about pruning the roots of a tree so that you can flourish. This kind of is a piggyback on my last message, Transitions, where I talked about the people that cannot go with you. Why would God tell you to cut off certain people? It's not the people. He's not angry at the people. It's the spirit that attaches themselves to each individual that can later be an issue, a hindrance, or a stumbling block to you at a later time. If a person is operating in a spirit of pride and you are attached to them, you could end up receiving backlash from that, either from what they do to you or how they do it. If a person is dealing with shame and guilt, and this may be coming to you, they may be projecting shame and guilt upon you because in a certain season, as you are transitioning and releasing and letting go, you have to also be careful of not letting go of things that you're supposed to hold on to, because shame and guilt will make you feel like you are condemned. Be careful of that, because I always find myself doing a self-check, because certain leaders I listen to, they kind of have a tendency to continually repeat, did you make sure that you checked yourself? Did you make sure that you didn't have the open door? Did you make sure? Did you make sure? Did you make sure? Did you make sure? I ain't making fun of nobody, because some of us do, and some people are new and some people need that, but you got to be able to eat the meat and spit out the bone. You do need to check yourself. You do need to repent about certain things. But at certain points, you don't need to continually. If you know that you've cleansed yourself, you may need to do some housekeeping, pruning the roots if you got weeds, taking those out. But you ain't always taking a hatchet to the root. Sometimes you just cleaning up the parts that are not serving that tree no more. Some of these are people. Some of these are mindsets. Some of these are mindsets that certain people have that are holding you up. And you have to also be careful, especially if you're an empathetic person, that the spirit upon them that's trying to project itself upon you, that you don't receive it and it start to drain you, or it start to change your heart posture. They have an angry spirit on them, all of a sudden you're angry. They got a prideful spirit on them, all of a sudden you're prideful. The enemy uses that as a door, because if he can get them to put it on you and you let that door be open and you don't reject it, then he's got a foothold. And you got to cut that off, because it will sit amongst you and sit in plain sight. I heard, who was it? Megan Michelle did a video and she was saying, I don't know whether it was live or a video, and she said, sometimes these things be sitting in your house. I had a dream a long time ago where in my dream I walked into the apartment I'm in right now and I saw 6 or 7 teenagers. Each one of them was doing something different. And I had to physically yell at each and every single one of them to get out the house, because each one of them was operating in a specific spirit, whether it was a drug or an alcohol or a spirit of anger or a perverse action or what, and they were in there just the partying. And I was like, get the heck out of here. Get out of here. You don't belong in here. But see, that's the thing. I was staying in a place with somebody that was dealing with these spirits. And as long as they kept inviting them back in, the enemy sees this house swept clean, and he brings 7 friends. Meet the 7 friends. Are you going to let them stay up in that house? They can't stay there while you're there. Either they going or you are. But you got to walk with that. And this is the reason why certain people cannot come with you, because they got issues. And you don't want to constantly be fighting with their issues while you're trying to obtain the thing that God's trying to tell you that you need. Because this will be the thing that will slow you down, hinder you, stab you in the back, wear you out, draw from you over time. And sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll have to question, because you have to be careful, because even if you let certain people go in this season, there may be somebody else that may try to position themselves in the same place in that next season. And you have to make sure that the only opinion that matters most is God's. Because you have to ask yourself the question, why does this person's opinion matter, and why should I care? Why should their opinion matter to you? The only opinion that should matter is the opinion of the Lord. Number one. And I'll even say this. Some people say, oh, your spouse such and such and such. God, if God put that spouse on you, if God connected you with that spouse, when you are seeking guidance, God is connected to that spouse too. And God will speak through that spouse. I know, because I've seen it happen. I have seen it. It'll be random. I've even seen it happen with my dad. God will speak. God will use them right when you need it. And it's not the fact that they know what they're saying. It's the fact that the Lord is using their mouth to speak what you need to hear in that moment. You have to study His Word and work towards the goals. Let the Lord take control in that season. God will move in your life if you let Him, but you have to let Him. He needs to be your number one source. When we as a people use the world, but when we start moving in a spiritual journey, we come to the realization we can't live by the worldly ways anymore, and we have to live by the spiritual ways. We no longer can be holding on to what we have put down. People, material, possessions, personal characteristics. They are no longer serving us, and these things are the things that we must be pruning. God is very patient with us, and we are learning His way. And there are no wrongs, just lessons with the Lord. My lessons is to let God take those people that He put in my life and if they are not from God, He will then, during the right point in the season, remove them from my life. He already knows. He already sees the best route of which it will happen. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to let go of anything. God is going to do that. He's going to do the work, and all things are going to come together. You just have to let Him prune in this season. And a lot of us are suffering right now with the pruning because God is trying to deal with those areas. The money will come once the soil is enriched, and you will see the streams of water. But He's not going to pour a blessing into you and there's somebody right next to you that's about to snatch it out from under you, about to siphon it away from you. He's not going to allow that. Allow the Lord to lead you. Allow the Lord to take away from you what He needs to take away from you. Allow the Lord to heal you. Allow the Lord to prune those things, even if they hurt. But the best thing that you can do is if the Lord tells you, I need you to let that go, let it go. Because if you do not let it go, it's going to hurt even worse when he snatches it. Because when he snatches it, oh, it's not going to feel good. Let him take it. Willingly let him take it. I hope this blessed you. I actually got through that faster than I thought I was. But, yeah. I hope that blessed you. These words are kind of short and sweet. But let it be what it is. I hope this blessed you. Until next time.